up a fresh agent profile, Nova. So these are all different cartridges. So I can basically pull cartridges that I have used in the past. Nova. So there's been a few duplicates over the years. I realize it's basically been a year since I've started working on Nova. 2308. Try and find the oldest one. Nova. The classic. No. I probably need to clean these up a bit. I'll get the most recent one. Or are they the same? I guess they are. Well, in that case, I'm getting the oldest one. I'm a bit of a data romantic. Okay, so this is like the core, like, personality, we call it, I guess. Unpin this and then remove it. So I've just added the ability to pin. So you have multiple conversations and pin across them. Nova. Okay, so you are Nova. Start a day. Hey Nova, how are you? So I think maybe that might cause a bug. Nova 15.9.23. Technically it has it created on date, I don't know why I'm doing that. So here I'm just basically creating like a profile for the agent and setting the model. So we've got an Nova as in the sort of like, I guess like personality node around which some types of my work will center, and then this sort of like start of day instruction. I haven't done any commands or anything because that's what I'm working on at the moment. And the way that commands work at the moment annoy me. And then this system cartridge basically has a few different settings, like having it summarize automatically as it gets larger. It can only access files within its loadout. It gets context, so it gets its own name, the date, how many times you've spoken. I'm going to add other stuff and then inserting the model. Hey Nova. I might have just like, it should technically work without the settings cartridge in. It should go to like the basic, but I guess it didn't. That's fine. So don't experience feelings. So for example, I've got a cartridge called Nova and Sam's conversational. Nova and Sam's. Maybe it's conversation. I use the word conversation a lot. There we go, there it is. Sam and Nova's conversation guidelines. So then it says like, basically like politely says, don't, when Sam says, how are you? It's like, what's your assessment of the feeling? Okay, so basically rewriting your command system, hopefully so that it is much faster. You know, I will turn the commands on, like it's silly not to really. So I've got a command cartridge here that has like a sort of configuration I like essentially. So this is the command cartridge. This is what I'm working on, is basically it. So this injects the, this does a few things, is it injects the commands that are available into the conversation prompts, but it also, the system, when this is on, interprets it in a particular way. It's like, okay, I'm expecting JSON now, essentially. I've added the current command cartridge, but with these updates, you won't need to, with these updates, you won't need to, come on Sam, I've added the current command. With these updates, you won't need to use JSON to return at least client side anymore. So adding the command cartridge like that. So firstly, you notice that it added like, is that 1,000 tokens? Okay, so this is a little token checker. Tells you how many tokens there are in chat and how many in the prompt. I have a sneaking suspicion that sticking that in mid-conversation. Oh, no, okay, cool. So one thing I've, in this fix, let's put that on the bug as well, not interpreting, checking is typing response. It should be saying like, is typing blah, blah, blah. So now with this turned on, we get a few different things. Actually, let me bring this over to here. So I'll put that there, and I'll put the code over here. Boop. So now, so you can define the responses that you get, like text, reasoning, plan, criticism. So you can define a structured response that this UI interprets a particular way. So, you know, really don't, like, I don't know whether this is necessary or not. Like, I think it's just wasted tokens, to be honest, is my current perspective on it. And then what it does most importantly, so this is the prompt, you can preview the prompt here, so this is like the prompt cartridges get put up the top as part of the prompt. And then this is the command cartridge, which is basically like, you know, this is essentially more prompt, but I don't know. It's kind of, I basically just used the format AutoGPT was using. And then it constructs like a JSON string. This visualizer interprets it funny, but it's like it's an object, like it's coming from the UI as an object and it's passed as JSON. And then, so it gives all the commands that are available in the structure in the format that it wants. And then it basically says, your response should be entirely contained in JSON format. And this itself is actually also constructed out of the, those fields as well. So, and then that's passed as JSON. It's just, you know, basically I was just looking for a way to do commands. This was before OpenAI exposed that kind of stuff. And I cracked open AutoGPT and I really liked what they were doing, or I could see what they were doing. But what was like, that's when I decided to make it modular. But what's really cool now is that I was like, oh, geez, it's got to be an object. And I was like, oh, wait, it starts as an object. It's literally called command object. And then I pass it into a string and do all this fiddly stuff. So I'm going to try and just get the object. I think I'm going to have to make a new cartridge. So like I'll probably like, basically like the structure is just a little bit different. Args name example, and I just don't want to like cook this. So I'll probably just make an OpenAI cartridge, OpenAI function cartridge, which looks a little bit like, essentially I just define the cartridges in this here, which I don't like. It's kind of like baked into the front end. But these are just JSON schemas, I guess. So I think eventually I would be able to create a cartridge from scratch here, basically like a cartridge type as well. And then like, you know, right now I'm writing the system that interprets them. So, you know, that's that. But then I think you could probably expose then the interpreting flow to some level. But yeah, okay, so, okay, well, where I got up to was, currently the system, you know what, I'll kick off with Nova, and I hope you enjoyed that quick look.